As I trotted out of the bathroom, I really hoped that I hadn't just ruined the toilet. There were some precious things, and when I tried to flush, well, let's just say I wasn't too sure I could handle what I just pushed in. I made my way back to the operating room, but then paused. There was Dr. Tenderheart's office. I smiled as I stepped inside, looking at the terminal P-21 had hacked and the safe he had left open. He'd been so brave going on his own to try and find some way to stop the mad children. I'd thought Gloria died. I closed my eyes. I really couldn't say if I'd made progress since then. I looked at Marigold's file on the desktop, and slowly turned it over, looking at obscure medical work. Then the stacks of files slipped and fell onto the floor with a clatter, sliding in a fan of papers and folders. Great, Blackjack. That's great. I knelt down and started gathering them up with my hooves and horn. I knew it was irrational. It wasn't my office. Heck, the one who had worked in here had been gone for 2 centuries. Still, her space. As I picked up the last, I spotted a faint glowing glow from the open safe. Slowly, I pushed it open and looked down at a little glass yellow orb. I hesitated, then stretched out my hoof and carefully rolled it out. My fingers extended as I stared down at it. You're supposed to be in there. Interesting, rasped the dealer's voice, making me jump, and I looked aside with a scowl to see him staring out of the window. Oh, that just about sums up my entire life, I said with a little frown. What are you doing here? I just thought I'd comment on the variety, life, and the oddities, luck, random chance, all that, he said as he spread out 5 cards showing a royal flush. 1 second, you get exactly what you need. The next. He tapped 1 card, and it went from an ace of spades to a 2 of clubs. Nothing. How do you think that memory orb came to be there? Something you missed the first time through? What are the odds that you'd find that? No idea. I'm still waiting to find the memory orb that explains who the hell you are, I replied sharply as I stood on my hind legs and approached him. He smiled up at me, his hooves working the cards better than I could with my magic. I told you, I'm no pony special, just along for the ride. Horse apples, who are you? What are you? I asked as I looked him over. No pony special at all, he murmured softly. Is that so hard to believe? Yes, I replied flatly. My life is too interesting to just allow a random ghost pony to be living in my pip buck along with a key to Equestria's darkest secrets. I mean, I'm supposed to, be some pretty odd shit, but this is a little much. Call me crazy. No, you're not crazy, he said in a dangerous, low voice loaded with rage as he stared out of the window, the distant green glow of the city. I saw his jaw work, his muscles flexing under the coat. He sighed. How did it come to this? You tell me, Golden Blood, I said as I crossed my hooves. Sitting on the desk upright, oddly, my body had no problem balancing, so long as I actually didn't try and balance. I'm not Golden Blood, he said quietly. I doubted that. But I knew there was no point in the whole cycle of accusing and denying. But you knew him, I challenged. He didn't answer for several seconds. No pony knew him. None of us. We all thought we had him figured out. Luna thought he was her loyal, evil counselor, working behind the scenes. Fluttershy thought he was a helpless little lamb till he showed his fangs. Horse thought he was an idiot. Twilight thought he was a friend, then an enemy, then a friend, then an enemy, then who knew? And Spike thought he was a father. And who did you think he was? I asked. If I had to play games to get answers, I'd play and hope he slipped and revealed something. Me. He arched a brow and looked out the window again. He was the pony who blew up the world. He shoved himself away from the window, turning towards me with a scowl. Oh, he didn't do it by himself. Don't get the idea that he twirled his mustache one day, gave an evil laugh, and set out to kill every pony. No. Ministry Mares, Celestia, Luna. Every pony was guilty. Every pony facilitated it. Every pony gleefully raced towards the edge, and any pony who didn't like it and thought it was wrong stayed silent. Golden Blood was just the architect who set it all up. If he'd just shut his mouth and died and let Luna fail, the world would have been a better place. So why'd he do it? I asked. The fury returned to his face as he glared at me for a moment, but then he cast his eyes away. Don't know. Fluttershy, Twilight, Luna? He always did have a weak spot for assertive mares. Or maybe it was something else. Maybe the power and the secrets and lies wormed their way inside him till he snapped. Till one day he was so sick of it that he stopped playing the game. He said as he leaned towards me and clapped his hoofs together in front of my face, making me jump. And then he found out you don't stop playing this game. You can't just change the rules. You can't suddenly make things right again. He snorted softly as I picked myself up. He would have loved you. Probably have killed you about the time you found out about EC-1101 and what it did. But loved you. I sighed and shook my head. So, why not spill? Not my job, not my place. He sniffed. I grunted and rolled my eyes. Come on. Just disclose the details already. Dealer or whoever you are. Why do you insist on all this mystery crap? Because I'm not playing the game anymore. Not like Sanguine was, or like you are. DJ Pony, the stable dweller. He laughed long and thin. What? You think this is all coincidence? I don't believe in coincidence. All of you start wiggling about like a kicked-over anthrill all at once. You start discovering the OIA's secrets, wars and death and chaos. It's 200 years ago all over again. The same fucking game still being played. What game? What are you talking about? I asked, backing away a little. Maybe I wasn't the crazy one. I'm not playing a fucking game here. No? Why are you trying to find out about the projects? He asked as he licked his lips. Why are you trying to find out where EC-1101 is getting to? Because you think it'll lead you to the answers, don't you? Why do you care about this shithole of a city? Why do you keep on fighting day after day? He pulled out a card and threw it in my face. The surface was a mirror, and I stared at my tattered reflection. Look at you. You're half-metal blackjack. Another card of me nailed over a crate landed on my hooves, my hide painted white and red. Look at the shit you go through. Another card showed the atrium full of still ponies. One of mine's bloody rock crusher. One of 40's stasis pod. Look at the shit you cause. Shut up! I screamed, the cards fluttering away like dead insects as I backed away into the corner. What do you want from me? I want you to stop playing the game. The same stupid game every pony's been playing for years. Stop pretending it's all for something. Stop imagining you can fix it. Can't save the wasteland. You can't save ponies. You can't save your friends. You can't even save yourself. He said as he took his cards and tossed them into his cowboy hat. Don't be like Twilight and her friend. You'll just get every pony killed if you do. He said as he put it back on the top of his head. He pointed to the memory orb in the mechanical grip. Put that orb back where you found it. Get the help you need. Take your friends and go. Leave this damned place and find some nice, peaceful patch. Forget about Golden Blood and Equestria. They're dead and gone. I can't, I said as I clenched my eyes shut. He did something. Caused something. And I have to stop it. I can't give up. Yet I could still see him there, looking down at me in disgust and judgment, then nothing. Slowly, I cracked my eyes open and looked at the empty room. Nothing. Just an empty room. "Are you okay?" Gloria asked with a little frown as I returned to the operating room. "I'm pretty sure I couldn't see okay with a set of binoculars, but I'm ready to let you go to work," I said hoarsely as I tried not to look in the glass trays full of wet, fleshy tissue. "You have a memory orb you want to look at?" Gloria asked as she turned towards the podium that controlled the surgical robot. I carefully lifted the golden orb that had mysteriously appeared in the office safe. "Yeah, guess so." She frowned. "Without Lacuna, it should take about an hour or two, so if you wake up in the middle, try to go back in." I hopped up onto the operating table. No, I really didn't want to be here. Laying here brought forth all kinds of memories of snip, snip, snip. In fact, I could see those little scissors at the end of the steel shaft. Okay, just work quick. I bit my lip and tapped the orb against my horn, trying to make the connection happen. Come on, come on. The tiny spark from my horn, and I looked over at the dealer watching me coldly, and the world spun away. There was only one pony that felt like this. My chest burned and bubbled with every breath. My legs ached and my head throbbed. This body was utterly exhausted. Yet Golden Blood walked across the plaza. Great black buildings loomed in every direction around us. The ponies scurrying around them seemed almost like afterthoughts. What had Hoofington looked like before it was burned to the ground? I couldn't imagine this as an improvement. It was night, but lights on the black facades lit up everything in garish colors. 2 other ponies flanked him, but he paid them no mind. Really, feeling like this, I expected him to be looking for some bed to curl up in. If I'd felt like he did, I'd want to sleep for a couple years. He walked slowly ahead, weaving slightly on unsteady hooves. He kept his eyes low, save for occasional glances around him or over his shoulder. The cold, wet air felt good on his burning lungs. "Mr. Goldenblood, are you sure he'll be available at this hour?" one of the bucks following him asked. "Ponies like him don't keep normal hours," Goldenblood replied. He looked up at the blue neon sign in front of the door. Rabronco. The 3 walked into the large foyer, and right into the sights of an immense Ultra Sentinel. Its guns pointed right down at us as it boomed, "Prepare to be destroyed!" And the buck's voice followed it up with, "And that's the last thing your striped nemesis will hear when they face off against the Rabronco Ultra Sentinel. Rabronco, putting technology to the test for a better and brighter tomorrow." More Sentinel robots stood on podiums around the massive rainbow machine. Protected ponies just stomped their hooves weakly on their fringes. Clearly, Golden Blood wasn't a pony who startled easily. "That's a hell of a demonstration model," one of his escorts murmured. Golden Blood pressed the elevator button with his horn before he asked exactly what I was thinking. "What makes you think this is for demonstrations?" He smiled just a little as the 2 bucks shuffled nervously behind him. In the polished steel doors, I saw the Ultra Sentinel watching the 3 of us. What indeed?